January 27th, 31 degrees Fahrenheit. And we've got our third substantial amount of snow. We've had multiple snows each month since November, December, January. But this is only our third substantial one. And what I mean by substantial is an amount of snow that actually was a measurable amount and actually stuck around for more than a few days. So this was probably the most we had ever gotten. It's already melted now a little bit. We got some rain the day before yesterday. So it was about a foot. It's probably down to like 7 inches now. It was a little bit more than a foot actually. And what I wanted to get into today was just some low tunnel snow removal notes. Because, I mean, there was enough snow in here that I had to get a shovel this wide down all of the paths. And then when I had, so I shoveled all the snow the first day just to keep up with it. Then I came up the second day and I moved it out a little bit more just in case we had gotten more snow. And then it rained and I didn't throw the snow far enough out, which I was thinking, maybe you're not throwing that out far enough, but I did not expect it to rain. And then all the snow that I had removed just melted back in up along this whole side of the tunnel here. So then I came up after it rained, I removed it again. And they're doing pretty good, you know, they're all still standing. One note, I think that's very important that Elliot Coleman explains, and I didn't have the resources. I was trying to get some reclaimed free greenhouse plastic, and I just couldn't make it happen. But the idea is that if you had one layer of Agribon cover and then greenhouse plastic over that, these tunnels would not be able to cave in from the weight of the snow, because that greenhouse plastic would just make the snow slide right off the side. So that's definitely something I want to look into for next year. It's probably going to be mandatory that I get that, because, you know, I will still have to come up here and do some snow removal, but not to the extent. It'll just make life easier. And, you know, when you have edible crops for you and your family in here, and then you're also trying to make a little bit of a revenue from what's inside of these tunnels, you know, you got to protect it. So maybe a Craigslist ad, maybe if anybody watching this has some reclaimed free greenhouse plastic, we can make a connection. And yeah, so we got down, the coldest temp we've had so far was 8 degrees. And after the 8 degrees, we've seen some teens. We're probably going to get into the teens in a few. I mean, February can also be one of the coldest months. So, I mean, it's interesting. It was just 50 degrees about 2 weeks ago. So, winter's finally here. And like I have said many times before, and I'll keep saying it, the seasons are switching. And I can remember last year, we had 40 degrees nights in June. So the cold is sticking around way longer in the springtime, and it's taking way longer to get here going into winter. So I'm keeping that food for thought and observation fresh in my mind, because what you want to get started so quickly, you want to get the squash out there after the last frost, May 17th for us. Zone 5A. You want to get those tomatoes out there, all those peppers, those heat-loving crops, eggplant. But if I could see possibly multiple 40 degrees nights in June, that's not good for those heat-loving crops. And it's what happened last year. It stunted them all. I still got a good crop off of them, but I'm working with some cold hardy tomatoes, and I saved seed off of a tomato that saw 2 frosts last year, so I'm planning on putting that one out under cover, and I know that that one will survive. And then I've also got some quick 60-day Russian tomatoes that are also known to be really cold hardy. So that's going to give me a jump on my early tomato production. The trellis fell off over here from the weight of the snow. Last time the snow snowed on it, so then I cleaned it off, and then we got a big wind and it blew it off. So then I put it back on, snowed again, and I was like, oh, let me not clean it off, because last time I cleaned it off and it blew off, and then it fell off again. So we're just gonna leave that there until springtime, and maybe etch out the 2x4 and just get an elbow connector, slap that on. I'll have to rebend this back, slap the elbow connector on, and then just put a straight pipe. The reason why, because I already have these copper pipes, and that was cheaper than to get another top copper pipe, but maybe it's of my interest to make a more stable trellis. And I'm trying to stay on the pathways because I don't want to be walking on beds. I'm pretty sure I'm right in it. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine, but if all goes well, we got 100 full bulb onions harvesting in May. So stay tuned for that. And I got this, I got the cold box in place, so probably in the beginning of February. That's what's so cool about this box over here, is that in the beginning of February I can put mini soil blocks in this Dutch light, in this hot box. So I've been coming out here and doing tests, and pretty much every time it's cold out here, I come in, I open this up, and I put my hand in there. Substantially warmer inside this box than outside this box. So, and for perspective, that's about how much snow we got. It's up to the, it wasn't, this box was completely covered, and then it melted about those few inches. But yeah, so I can put about some cold hardy lettuce seedlings in here, and these can grow up in this box outside for a month. And then by March, I can either transplant them into the tunnels, or maybe just try to put them directly outside in the garden, and they'll withstand to the cold, late spring cold temperatures. Look at all the mounds too, with the nice it's nice. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it all. And that was just my few notes on the low tunnels. You're gonna want to make sure you got greenhouse plastic as your second layer of cover, and not just 2 layers of Agribon cover. If you're gonna see heavy amounts of snow, you might be able to get away. You're definitely able to get away with the 2 layers of Agribon cover in a warmer climate, but it's just not the case here with my context. It's also my first year experimenting with these, so yeah, so stay tuned. One Love Wholeness. This is a quick late January winter low tunnel notes update. Stay tuned for some more updates. Thank you for everyone's support, and stay tuned. Got a lot of good things to come this year and beyond. One Love Wholeness. Thank you.